Still Lonely. Interview, take one. So first, introduce yourself and tell us why you're here.
My name is Ricky Singerman, and I'm here today to discuss my new song called Still Lonely.
So where did the song really begin? Like, what was going on in your world when this came to life?
That's such a complex question because there's really so much that led up to that moment. I think going back in time, I spent a pretty significant amount of time in a pretty tumultuous relationship, and that affected me in a lot of ways mentally and my self-esteem and my self-worth and kind of how I viewed the world and viewed relationships. So I think for the longest time after that relationship, I would seek out partnerships or relationships with people that were emotionally unavailable, and I would chase that rather than put time and energy into people who were actually willing to give me the time of day. And I think I did that because it was kind of easier to shut off emotionally than risk myself, getting hurt again by someone that I cared about. So that was kind of like the beginnings of the song.
Do you remember the exact moment that idea for Still Lonely first hit you?
Yeah, actually I do remember the exact moment the idea for the song hit me. So after my crazy relationship that I spent years in, I started seeing someone that I had known for some time. We kind of had a friendship. We had hooked up in the past. We'll give him a nickname. The nickname is going to be Prison Viking.
Love it.
So I started seeing Prison Viking, and we would see each other on and off casually. And over time, just based on the circumstances, I started to develop deeper feelings for him, or what I thought were deeper feelings for him, and kind of started trying to figure out if he had feelings for me or not that went deeper than just physical connection. And we had this one night where we had a conversation that made it pretty clear that he was 0% interested in me in anything other than physical. And so he ends up leaving, and immediately I just pulled out my guitar and just started plucking away and working on a song. And that's when Still Lonely kind of came to fruition, because I had this final moment of feeling like I've spent so much time running up these alleys that were never really going to get me anywhere, thinking that it was going to protect my heart and it was going to protect me, when in the long run it actually ended up getting me more hurt. So that's how it began, that's how it happened, and yeah.
Touch the side of my face, though you don't even love me.
So speaking of the creative process, what was your creative process like?
My creative process is always kind of chaotic, so it'll always start with in the beginning, little songs kind of coming to the surface. I'll be playing guitar or whatever, and little bits and pieces will kind of come to fruition, but the whole thing won't really land. And then in one moment it'll just all hit me at the same time, and the song just kind of builds lyrics and music kind of at the same time. And that's always been my process. It's kind of just it almost feels like a channel. I channel something, and through that channel I'm able to write the song, but I can kind of feel the energy in the week leading up to it kind of starting to bubble in. So I always know when there's a new song on the horizon, and I'm not always processing exactly what it's going to be about or what I'm feeling in that moment that's causing that to happen. The processing kind of happens once music and words kind of come out, and I go have a whole song.
What were you confronting in your life at the time that made its way into these lyrics?
I think at the time when I was writing Still Lonely, I was confronting this idea that I deserved more. I was confronting an idea that my value wasn't attached to somebody else's inability to see me where I was at. I think I was confronting my past relationship and the pain that I suffered in that and the trauma that I experienced afterwards. I think I was confronting a feeling of feeling really unsafe, specifically with men, but I think within myself and within my own choices. And I think that for a time it was easier to sit in what was comfortable to me, which may have been chaotic and tumultuous and difficult to deal with, but at the time I had been doing it for so long that it's just kind of what felt comfortable. So I think I spent so much time sitting in that it got to a certain point where the way I was feeling and my level of growth had kind of exceeded where I was when I developed those coping skills. And when I got to that point, I just finally had to say, like, I am literally still lonely. Like, I have all these people around me that are my friends, that are my lovers, that are my whatever, but like, I'm avoiding connection, and it's not their fault. They're just being themselves. They're doing what they're gonna do in their lifetime and their choices and their journey, and that's fine. But like, by chasing those people who were unwilling to see me and recognize me, I was avoiding seeing and recognizing myself. So I think that's what I was confronting while writing this song.
Honestly, that was beautiful, dude.
Thank you.
I was so great. I was like, Jesus. Were there any lyrics that were hard to write or hard to admit out loud?
In verse 1, I say, touch the side of my face, though you don't even love me. Thought that I found a way to never be lonely. And I think those lyrics, I get like chills when I like say them out loud. I know they're like so simple, but like there was something about that was like my first dribble of like recognition of why I was writing the song and like what I was confronting by writing it. So I think those words really stand out to me because it's just what the song is about. It's, you know, person after person, or sometimes the same person in my case, that I would see over and over again. And I would go into the interactions thinking it would make me feel better, make me feel whole, and I would leave the interactions actually feeling like used and not good and, you know, kind of just like. So I think those words really stand out the most to me because they just like describe the whole picture. Touch the side of my face, though you don't even love me. Thought that I found a way to never be lonely, but I'm still lonely.
Thought that I found a way to never be lonely.
Did writing this song feel like a release for you, like letting something go?
Absolutely. I think all my songs are a release for me. I think for me, music is obviously like releasing music, people listen to it, you get money, blah, 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 blah. That's an industry, that's a business. But for me, music, it's just honestly a way for me to discuss what's going on internally. I think sometimes it can be really easy to let all that get like trapped up inside of us. And for me, music is my outlet to release that and get that out. It can be really hard for me at times to be vulnerable when I'm speaking to people. And I can, but there's certain subjects that are just difficult. Or maybe I like don't even have like the full understanding of what I'm experiencing, what emotions I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. And music is kind of when all of that comes together for me. What was the question? So all in all, writing the song felt like a huge release for me because I was able to just like confront my experiences and confront what I was going through and just kind of like get it out of my body. Also, I feel like anytime I like release a song into the world, like not even just like write it down on paper and now it's a finished song, but just like that act of like completing something, perfecting it to my, you know, version of perfection, and then putting it out there in the world and showing it to other people and hoping that it can help them in their experiences as much as it helped me in mine. I think that's kind of like the biggest release of all. It's almost like literally like an orgasm. Not even like orgasmic, but it's like cellularly. And so yeah, absolutely. Writing the song was a release, and any song that I write is always a release, and that's why I love doing it so much.
Any moments that made you laugh in the middle of all of the loneliness?
Yeah. Okay, so this is one thing that is kind of like so I told you guys about the whole process of how I wrote the song, how it came about, the exact moment it kind of came to fruition. So Prison Viking leaves, right? I write the whole song, blah, blah, blah. I'm like up till 4 a.m, actually like recording it on Logic. And he hits me up like a couple of days later and wants to hang out again. And I'm like, okay, absolutely. So he comes over and I'm like, I wrote a song about you. And he was like, no way, I want to hear it. And I was like, okay. And I like took him into the studio and I showed him the song. And it was a pretty like confronting song to show someone. But I did that and he was like, oh, it's great. And then so, okay, moving forward, next question.
Okay. What do you hope people feel when they hear Still Lonely?
I think part of like, it's a waltz, so it's like dun 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 dun, you know what I mean? So I guess like part of that is I want people to feel like almost like repetition. Like I want people to feel like it's like a cycle that happens over and over and over again. So that's kind of like one of the main things that I was portraying in the song. But I also just want people to feel like I've got this, I'm gonna be okay, like I can confront the stuff that I'm dealing with in my life, and like I deserve more than emotionally vacant connections.
Looking back, what do you think the song helped you release or understand about yourself?
I think the song really helped me understand that I was craving an emotional connection with someone that was deeper than physical intimacy. I was craving a safe connection with someone. I was craving a connection that truly felt loving and kind and safe and secure. And I realized that I was continuously putting myself in situations that weren't going to achieve that because, like, deep down low, I was honestly afraid of having the good thing and having the secure connection and having the safe connection. Because I think, like, also a big part of, like, going through, like, abusive relationships is that you at times question if you're the problem. And I think that with my past relationship, like, I would question that a lot. And I think by avoiding deeper connections after that relationship, it was almost a way for me to avoid confronting the fact that maybe like I was a problem, if that makes sense. And I think like later on as time has gone by, I've like had the realization that like I wasn't the problem. Like I am not a perfect person and I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of, but none of that justifies somebody putting their hands on me or, you know, emotionally like harming me and all of that. So yeah.
If you could talk to the version of you who was carrying all of those heavy emotions, what would you say to them now?
That's such an intense question. Okay, I gotta like not cry. If I could talk to the version of myself that was carrying all those heavy emotions, I would tell her that she's worth it. What the Okay, I would look at her and I would tell her that she's worth it. I would look at her and tell her she's valuable. I would tell her that she deserves to be treated well and that she deserves to be loved and that she deserves happiness. I would tell her to stop barking up trees that were just gonna poison her. And I would tell her to get herself out of situations that weren't serving her emotionally or energetically, before they ended up really scarring her and leaving, you know, potentially lifelong consequences. And I would tell her she's a badass.
Do you feel like you're still lonely now, or has something shifted?
No, honestly, I think something definitely has shifted. I am, you know, incredibly lucky to be surrounded by wonderful people. I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends. I have amazing people in my life that support me and have my back and show up when it matters. So no, I don't think I'm still lonely. Am I in a significant romantic relationship right now? No, I'm not. But I think that to me, that's not as important because what's important to me is growth within myself. So I think that I just look at it different. I think that like while I still might not have a significant like romantic relationship in my life, I'm not lonely because like I have all these beautiful things. I love myself more than I've ever loved myself. I hold boundaries for myself more than I've ever held boundaries for myself. I, you know, try to really take care of myself, take care of my home, take care of the people around me. So no, I'm not still lonely. I'm healing and I'm doing very great and I'm very happy with where I'm at in life right now. I'm very grateful for what I do have.
Why was it important for you to share this with the world?
I think this was really important for me to share with the world. Because it's my personal experience and through writing it, it helped me so much that I just felt like maybe it would help other people who've experienced similar things. Secondly, it was important to share this with the world because I think that in this topic in particular, you know, like masking the need for emotional security with physical intimacy, I think it's a topic that men discuss a lot and it's pretty socially accepted in terms of like the, you know, patriarchy. No, it's pretty socially accepted in terms of like men and discussions within groups of men, but I think when women talk about it out loud, we can be kind of labeled as like sluts, whores, promiscuous, whatever, not like worthy of being wives. So I wanted to discuss it and I wanted to say it out loud because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced this and the only person who has like coped with emotional trauma in this way. So I just wanted to put it out there and say like you're not alone if you are experiencing this, and it doesn't make you a hoe and it doesn't make you promiscuous, and you are worthy of love and kindness regardless of what you've been through.
If this song could leave people with one message, what do you hope that is?
If this song could leave people with one message, I hope that it leaves them with a sense of strength and a sense of pushing forward and growth. I want people to feel like they're not alone and that life can be sometimes, and sometimes we can be dealt some cards, and that's just part of it. And you get up and you brush your feet off. What? Oh, I said brush your feet off. Okay. You get up and you brush your knees off and you get back on the horse and you push yourself forward. And that's what I hope this song leaves people feeling.
And finally, what's next? What can we expect from you after this?
So what's next? I have tons of projects in the works. Currently working on a song called Ugh, and that's going to be the next song that's being released. Super excited about that one. I'm working on a song with my great friend Abba Zions. You should check out his music. He's incredible. We're working on a song called Torn, and that's going to be an amazing song, and it has just like so many different twists and turns, so I think it's going to be so much fun. And I'm also working on a song called Succubus that's kind of a folky, romantic vibe. So those are my next 3 projects I'm working on. I'm so excited to share them with you guys. Still Lonely is going to be out on April 11th on all streaming platforms. I'm so excited to share this part of my soul with you guys, and I can't wait for you to hear it.
But I'm still